Cartoon Network aired a series of musical shorts entitled Cartoon Network Groovies from April 2000 to July 2005, some of which would later air on Boomerang. Boomerang was a spin-off network with a focus on airing older, more classic cartoons, hence the name Boomerang and its catchphrase, "It's all coming back to you." The nostalgic memories of cartoons past came back to those who remembered growing up on them, much as a boomerang returns to the one who throws it. In between shows and during Boomerang Theater, the Groovies would play. Sometimes included were shorts originally from the Cartoon Network Shorties collection as well. I remember these shorts from that Boomerang era, specifically playing before and after episodes of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited that I watched religiously one summer. The purpose of this video is to discuss just some of the different Groovies that were shown on Boomerang while providing some context on their original source material. Adam Ant. Adam Ant, a Hanna Barbera cartoon from 1965, focused on a superhero ant who fights crime and often assists the police. The Groovie in which he is featured uses audio from a civil defense video from the 1950s, disseminated to children as a way to prepare for potential nuclear war. That, in tandem with the Atom part of Adam Ant, led me to believe that the cartoon had a large focus on atomic warfare, though that does not seem to be the case. In any event, the Groovie is a bit frightening, opening with the line, "We must all get ready now." Adam Ant's catchphrase, "Up and Atom, Adam Ant," is also featured in this short. It has a dark, apocalyptic, Guernica-type vibe, which is juxtaposed with the optimistic, sprite-like superhero ant. In the short, we see bombs being planted worldwide, and Adam Ant collects them all to be exploded in space, presumably saving the world from massive fallout. It's visually very striking, and I enjoy the surrealist elements quite a bit. Josie and the Pussycats. Josie and the Pussycats, an animated series based off of the Archie comics characters of the same name, aired in the early 1970s. The show focused on a teenage musical trio, Josie and the Pussycats, as they have adventures while playing different shows. The girls would become out of this world as they became Josie and the Pussycats in outer space for their later season. Something else to note is that one of the main characters, Valerie, was the first Black female character to regularly appear on a Saturday morning cartoon. Their Groovie, Musical Evolution, has them singing their titular theme song in various styles and genres, such as disco, techno, and even hard rock as they spoof the band Kiss. This is a fun watch as I like to see the girls change their outfits and styling to reflect the different music. It's cool to see them translated into different genres. Jabberjaw is up next. Jabberjaw is a 1976 series with only 16 episodes. The character Jabberjaw is a great white shark and is the drummer of the band The Neptunes. The other members of the band are four humans named Biff, Bubbles, Shelly, and Clamhead who live in an underwater civilization. The show included a musical element every episode and had standalone wacky adventures, much like other Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Jabberjaw had influences from comedic legends Curly of the Three Stooges and Rodney Dangerfield. He gets no respect. The Groovie takes place partially on an animated lunchbox, and I love this so much. I used to collect metal tin lunchboxes when I was a very young girl. I kind of had forgotten about that, but I had some really great ones. I had like Powerpuff Girls, Scooby-Doo, countless others. I think they're either lost in my parents' house or have been discarded, but that was a fun early childhood memory that just came back to me. It's all coming back to me. Anyway, the awesome Groovie begins with the line, "Me and my friends get no respect. What does Scooby do that we neglect?" emphasizing a core theme of Jabberjaw and acknowledging the comparisons made to the Scooby Gang. The song is lit and you gotta watch it. Gorilla for Sale depicts characters from the Magilla Gorilla show. This 1964 series featured Magilla Gorilla, a lovable gorilla prone to different antics. He is featured in Mr. Peebles' pet shop, but no one is ever to truly take him on as a pet. Peebles will just have to try again next week, as was the catchphrase. The Groovie is a smooth song describing Magilla and the show's plot, essentially. I quite like it. A line from the song is, "Don't call him a monkey, he ain't got no tail." I did not remember this line, but this exact thing has come up in two other videos I've made recently, my Donkey Kong Country Crystal Coconut one, and my review on The Emperor's New Groove. Monkeys have tails, apes do not. If people learn anything from my channel, it's going to be that. I also remember discussing this song with these guys I was sort of friends with in college back in New York, so it came up one night, and that just goes to show the enduring nature of the character and the impact the Groovies had on my generation. The Flintstones is an animated sitcom, the first one in fact, about families, mainly the Flintstones but also the Rubbles, set in the Stone Age. While prehistoric in setting, the characters play out very modern tropes and issues. Meet the Flintstones is a groovy depicting the Flintstones characters, sampling dialogue from the show and remixing the theme song. It also has written text on top of the footage, relating facts of the show as well as some of the dialogue. Examples include astronaut Neil Armstrong said "Yabba Dabba Doo" shortly after landing on the moon in 1969, and Barney is frequently unemployed. I like the added facts, and while I am not the biggest Flintstones fan, I like it well enough, and no one can argue its cultural impact on society, all the way from its debut in 1960. 66 years later, and the characters remain iconic and entrenched in the public eye. Go to a grocery store and you can still find them prevalent in the cereal aisle. Plus, I think we all know the power their vitamins had. 24th Century Mecha Mix is a trippy little short about the Jetsons. It remixes the theme song with added visual elements. The Jetsons aired in 1962 and focuses on the Jetson family, consisting of George, Jane, and children Judy and Elroy, along with their dog Astro and their robot housekeeper Rosie. The space-age setting offers an interesting twist, though it still follows the family sitcom style of the Flintstones. I really like this theory I've seen that the two shows actually take place at the same time in some post-apocalyptic world. The theory goes that the rich upper class was able to escape to the skies, while the rest of humanity has to rebuild from the Stone Age down on Earth. This is basically dispelled, though, when the two shows cross over in the 1987 The Jetsons Meet the Flintstones made-for-TV movie wherein time travel is utilized. El Kabong Rides Again shows us Quick Draw McGraw, a horse and the protagonist of the Quick Draw McGraw show that aired from 1959 to 1961, even snagging an Emmy in 1960. I am not at all familiar with this show, but I have learned that Quick Draw starred in short stories that took place in the Old West. I am a sucker for a Western motif, so I enjoy that. Quick Draw would assume the identity of El Kabong, spoofing Zorro. As El Kabong, Quick Draw would hit villains with a guitar. The Groovy shows us a stylized El Kabong as he takes on some bad guys, kabonging them with his guitar. He eventually stops and thwarts the evil plan to run over townsfolk with a train, utilizing a steel guitar to ensure his victory. It's a nice revisit of this old character. See you later, Wally Gator! We've got Alligator Liberation up next. This short focuses on Wally Gator, a character from the 1962 Wally Gator series, wherein anthropomorphic alligator, Wally, lives in a zoo and both yearns to escape but also seems to fit best in where he is after a life of captivity. This short hits that theme. We see well-meaning activists steal Wally from the zoo to take him back to nature. As the short says, agitators return alligator to the wild. Wally clearly feels unsafe and uncomfortable in the natural environs. Other gators appear, and together they steal the activist's car to all return to the zoo for a life of luxury. Now, it is true that animals born in captivity are often unsuccessful at adapting to the wild if returned, as they never learned the necessary survival skills. They were never socialized or raised around others of their kind. While I don't necessarily believe a life of captivity is good for a creature, the way it may be presented in this short, it is not the correct solution to just throw animals back out there, as they now have different needs. I have a degree in animal studies, and I remember a compelling class in college discussing how animals that are kept and bred in zoos and other enclosures eventually lose the very traits that make them them. Over time, we think we are preserving lineages in animals, but are we really, when the animals they become are so unrecognizable to their natural counterparts? Food for thought. Time is Running Out is our Jonny Quest short. This one may be my favorite. The Adventures of Jonny Quest originally aired for its first season in 1964. The show would later continue with new episodes in the mid-1980s and in the 1990s. The show focuses on titular character Jonny Quest as he goes on adventures with his incredibly intelligent scientist father. They are accompanied by Race Bannon, a special agent who essentially becomes the Quest bodyguard, Haji, adopted child of Dr. Quest and Johnny's brother, and their dog, Bandit. The show's unique plot and visual elements made it successful and enduring within pop culture. The Groovy is really neat as we see a board game setup demonstrating different elements of the show and showing the characters' different strengths. It also features dialogue from the series. The Race Bannon "Here They Come" part stays with me all these years later. I also must mention the wonderful music that has been slightly remixed. Honestly, now I feel like I have to watch Jonny Quest, which is not something I ever thought I'd say ever, let alone in 2026, but let's go. The Yogi Bear Groovie is kinda lit in a way that I don't know how to describe. It just discusses a bit about Yogi in the show. The Yogi Bear Show, a spin-off from the Huckleberry Hound Show, aired from 1961 to 1962. It focused on titular character Yogi Bear and his little buddy Boo Boo and their lives in Jellystone Park. Yogi is often scheming to steal picnic baskets, much to the irritation of Ranger Smith. Yogi's legacy would far outlast the original show run, with new iterations happening all the way up until 2021 and beyond with the show Jellystone. I actually watched a few episodes of that, and it's pretty good. Another standout for me was the live-action Yogi Bear movie from 2011, starring my man Tom Cavanaugh, aka the Reverse Flash, one of my favorite TV and comic villains, as Ranger Smith. I have such an appreciation for these shorts. They are unique and entertaining and succeed in accomplishing one of the main purposes of the Boomerang network: to offer nostalgia to the older audiences whilst attracting new viewers and introducing them to this classic content. The Groovies did this in an updated and attention-grabbing way. They were impactful enough that I am still thinking of them 20 years later. They were beautifully experimental and showcased a wide variety of animation and musical genres. They are the sort of creative beauties of the past that, as children, many may have taken for granted. Especially in an increasingly AI world, projects like this deserve to be preserved and cherished. I would love to hear your opinion on all of this. Did you guys watch Boomerang? Did you enjoy these shorts? What Hanna Barbera cartoon is your favorite? I, again, would love to hear in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. My channel, in a way not entirely dissimilar to the spirit of Boomerang, reviews and analyzes media typically of nostalgic nature, so check me out. Thank you again and stay groovy.